Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. And if you like the content, share it, as it really helps to grow the channel. I want to cover today a topic that I didn't think about for a long time, but then it became apparent to me that I should talk about it, which is when your opponent is injured, how you can use this to your benefit. So I know that it's going to sound really mean and everything, but it is the truth that if you have an opponent who's injured, then this can really change your strategy for the best if you know what the injury is. And I think a lot of times people don't get it. So in wrestling, because you need to get past the hands, because it's such an important line of defense, if somebody has a bunch of tape on their hand, you're going to grab it, right? Because what happens is, like, if you grab it, they'll pull it back. If they pull it back, they no longer have that line of defense and you can get it on the leg. That's an easy one. During PT, I was reminded of how I used to coach kids when they were wrestling, when somebody has an ankle injury or a knee injury. It's not as intuitive as you think. So let me tell you what made me think of it. Okay, so I was doing PT for my knee. If you've been following the channel, I ruptured my ACL, partially torn LCL, and partially torn meniscus. And they had me doing band work, and my bad leg was on the ground. So my left leg, the bad leg, and I had the band on my right ankle, and they had me pulling back. Well, when I walked backwards to put some tension on the knee, it pulled my body weight forward. So my left leg was on the ground, and I twisted, my foot twisted in this, because it's pulling me forward. It twisted in the same way that it did when I injured it doing a Hiraigoshi. And so my knee did a shift, inside, which sucked. And then it reminded me right at that moment, I was like, I need to make a video on what you do when somebody has a knee injury, because or ankle injury. So I'll start with how I learned this in the middle of a match in high school. I was wrestling. I had a horribly sprained ankle, and I literally weighed in on like crutches. And then I had a pain management doctor. After I weighed in, I took the crutches. Weighed in on one leg. And of course, everybody knew I had an ankle problem. It was huge. It was just awful. And then so I had a doctor bring me out to his car, swab my ankle, and inject it with like cortisone and xylocaine, so to numb it, right? And within 15-20 minutes, I had all my gear on and was running around, and it lasted a long time. And so when I wrestled in the tournament, I remember, because I had this big one of those tying ankle shoes that you wear like as a brace. And his coach kept saying, shoot on his ankle, shoot on his bad leg, shoot on his bad leg. And I remember in the match thinking, no, dude, when you shoot on my bad leg and I go shoelaces down, which I've showed on my channel before, if you've never seen that video, and like how you're supposed to sprawl, show it a few places. I know I showed in the first video I ever show. I don't know if I talk about it a whole lot, and then I show it later on. And shoelaces down so you can slide back. Well, if you shoot on my bad leg and I go shoelaces down and I sprawl back, that doesn't hurt me at all. So during that moment, I remember learning, shoot on my bad leg all you want, and I'll play into it and act like it's a problem, which it wasn't. And shoot on my bad leg, I get a good sprawl. And even if you pick it up off the mat, I'm balancing on my good leg. So this is where my PT thing comes in. When you're balancing on your bad leg, you're going to fall. And so when I was coaching in high school, a high school team, the head coach was telling his kid had tape all over his knee. And he was telling one of our wrestlers out there, like, shoot on his bad leg, shoot on his bad leg. And I said, no, shoot on the good leg. And he looked at me like, what? And I was like, just watch, shoot on the good leg, pick it up. The kid had a legitimate knee injury. This is how I knew that the kid had a legitimate knee injury, because sometimes people will be like, oh, and then take their injury time. No, kid had a legitimate knee injury, because when he picked up the good leg and he had to balance on the bad leg, he fell. And he was like, oh, like as he fell. And so I coached all my guys. If he's got tape on his hand, grab the bad hand. If he's got tape on his knee or his ankle or anything like that, any kind of brace or whatever, shoot on the good leg, because he has to balance on the bad leg. And right now, I'm telling you, I could not defend running the pipe to save my life. If you pick up my good leg and you run the pipe on me, my knee will pop out. Like it feels like it shifts like in there. Like it's awful. It's a horrible feeling. If you pick up my bad leg, I can balance on my good leg all day long. I have all the defense. So keep that in mind. I know it's like, oh, that's so horrible. And same thing goes to the shoulder, right? Like if he's got a bad shoulder, well, you can control that one. You know, you want that arm up above the head and everything else. And like, I know it's like, oh, you're so mean, but it's like, dude, it's grappling, man. In wrestling, when you grab a hand, you're doing it on purpose so that he has to get his hand away, right? It hurts, so he pulls his hand back. He pulls his hand back. You can easily take a shot on that, right? He's literally just taking the defense out of the way. And in my instructional, you'll see I talk a lot about hand fighting in terms of how to get past the hands, because you have to do it. Then there's not a good amount of decent hand fighting right now in jiu-jitsu, because it's not taught, I think, the way that it should be taught, depending on how the guy's standing, which you'll see. I talk about that a lot in my instructional, which comes out in like 11 days. So think about those things. Okay. Tape on the hand, grab the bad hand. Oh, which, by the way, that's why we taped both hands in wrestling. So if you have a hand injury, tape both hands. Okay. You should. If you have a knee injury, you may actually want to tape both knees too, because if you give me the idea of which knee is bad, I'm going to pick up the good leg and make you put your weight on your bad leg, and you can't hop on it. Well, if you have a like legitimate knee injury, I can't hop on my left leg right now, and it's been 5 weeks since I blew my ACL out, and I have like 99th percentile for stability. Like I'm like what they call a high level compensator. Probably more or less what like Nicky Ryan is, when Nicky Ryan's training without an ACL. Like I have high level compensation where I have enough leg strength to keep my leg from shifting most of the time. But when it does, it sucks. And the reason I'm going to get the ACL repair is because if I don't, then I'm going to probably damage my knee further down the road. They say that you'll tear your cartilage and your meniscus up, and then you'll eventually need a total knee. I don't want to get a total knee. I'm going to get it fixed while I can. And it's going to suck because I'll be like 45 before I can do jiu-jitsu again or wrestle again, or judo, which is how I heard it. But I want to do it right. But anyway, keep those in mind. It's not your fault that the other person's injured, okay? But you can take it. When you get to a high level, you'll use anything that you can to win. And it's not bad sportsmanship. I mean, you're not doing it on purpose. Like I'm not grabbing his hand to hurt his hand. I'm grabbing his hand because it hurts. He wants to pull it back, so he gives me access to his leg. I'm grabbing the good leg because I know that his bad leg hurts and he's not going to hop on it. And it's just going to give me an advantage to take him down. Now, frankly, if his knee hurts so bad, then maybe he won't try to stand up on me and he won't have to get taken down again. And so, like, again, like I know it sounds mean, and if you watch a lot of my channel, it seems like a lot of the things that I do hurt. But like, I mean, you got to create pressure in order to make somebody take you seriously. And so if you like this content, if you think it'll be useful for you, keep those things in mind. Please like it, share it, follow if you're not following me, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that when I put up new videos, you're notified of them and you can watch them right when I put them up. Thanks again. Until then, thanks for watching.